this program, the Business Development, Innovation and SMEs program in Slovakia, is an important part of the EEA and Norway grants. The program is really happening right now. As you might have seen, and which might be the reason why you are in this webinar, the program in Slovakia currently makes available approximately 17 million euros for in-project funding in Slovakia, and for project partnerships with the donor countries, the EEA countries, Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein. So we will talk more about that today. And my colleague Sonja will take you through the open calls and the project funding available. Otherwise, I think we have this is a short meeting. This is a webinar that is planned to last for an hour. We will give you the information that we think you need and that is interesting. Quite to the point. It lasts until 12 o'clock in Slovakia and in Norway. And then the B2B matchmaking can start. We have 28 participants that have signed up to the matchmaking and that have had their profiles validated. The matchmaking takes place in the platform B2Match, as you might have seen. And if you enter this via the link we sent you, you can also see the profiles of all the other participants. So we have, I think it was 2 participants from Iceland. Good morning to you. It's still morning in Iceland. 9 participants from Norway, and then the rest from Slovakia. 17 from Slovakia in the matchmaking. So we think that is a really good starting point. I will just remind you to have a look in the platform and to book meetings also while we talk during the webinar, and also to use the platform later for connecting with a potential partner in another country. It's also great if you mute your cameras. Not mute your microphones, so that everyone can hear what the presenters are saying. And with that, I would just like to welcome you, to say that Innovation Norway is very excited to really kick off the cooperation with Slovakia, and that we look forward to being in touch with all of you, and that you can ask us questions anytime, but preferably on email or by phoning us directly, and you have our contacts available, we believe. So with that, I will give the word for the main presentation to Sonja, who will take you through the project funding that is available.
Thank you, Ranveig, for welcome and introduction. As Ranveig already said, my name is Sonja. I'm Sonja Sulikova from the research agency, who is a program operator for this business program supported by the EEA and Norway grants. It's one of the programs supported in this program period 2014 to 2021. And the research agency is responsible for the Business Development Innovation SMEs program. We have already launched 2 main business calls, which I want to introduce them very briefly for all of you, because we would like you to get acquainted with some Norwegian or Icelandic potential project partners. Now I'm going to share my presentation with you, and if you have any questions, you can also write them in the chat or later on ask us or write us, because this webinar is mainly focused on project partnership, not on the calls or technicalities to the calls. Maybe you have been, I can see some names, Slovak names. You have already sent it some questions to any of either of these calls. We are trying to send the answers quite in time, and especially within these 10 days which we have, but we will definitely do our best to answer them as soon as you can, or you can just call us. Okay, and I'm going to share the presentation now. Can you see? Yeah, thank you. The facts about this program, the program objective is increase value creation and sustainable growth. That means it's mainly for the SMEs, and also these two calls are also for the big companies. The allocation for the program is 23 million euro, and as Ranway already mentioned, the big two calls, B01, B02, it together the amount is up to 17 million euro. What is important to remember that the two main focus areas of the program are green industry innovation, the abbreviation is GII, or welfare and ambient assisted living technologies, WTAAL. The program outcome is to increase competitiveness of the Slovak enterprises within these two program focus areas. And within this program, we would like to see the projects which would either develop to be focused on the development of innovative green technologies, products, services, solutions, or innovation of ambient assisted living and welfare technologies, solutions and processes. And the third one is the greening of their business operations. I will get a little bit later more into details, what we would like to see, what kind of projects we would like to see, but I would like to emphasize that this program is quite broad within the areas or subjects which we would like to support or to be supported. For both calls, BIN01, BIN02 is the same minimum grant to be required and maximum grant to be required. The maximum is 2 million euro and the minimum is 200,000 euro. As regards the co-financing, it's a little bit complicated, but it's the same for both calls. It's at least 20% for the private sector entities, and it's mainly given by the scheme, 8 schemes, which are valid for this calls, and also at least 10% for public sector entities, NGOs, or social partners. More details about the NGOs and social partners, it is actually identified in the calls BIN01 and BIN02. I would like just to emphasize, read very thoroughly the text of the calls, also the notes, underlines, under the lines, they are very important. As far as the geographical area of the project's implementations, there are no limitation except the one article of the state aid scheme, which Bratislava region is actually not allowed, but we will go closer to this later. Otherwise, all region of Slovak Republic is allowed. If we have a closer look to the call BN01, because very often you are actually asking us what is the difference between call BN01 and BN02. The main difference is the source of financing. BN01 is financed by the Norwegian financial mechanism. That means that the project partners can be from Norway or from Slovakia. The call is BIN02. It's financed by the financial mechanism of the European Economic Area, and the eligible partners are also from Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway, as the support comes from all three donor countries, Iceland, Liechtenstein, and Norway. This is the main kind of difference between these two calls. The other difference is the volume of the allocations. The B01, it's a bigger call. It's over 11 million euro, and it's open for 3 months. The deadline call closure, actually, it's getting closer. It's 17 September 2001, less than 1 month. And eligible applicants, eligible partners are actually the same. You can just read it. I will not repeat it, but mainly is the eligible applicants can be the businesses, the small, medium-sized enterprises or large enterprises, and the eligible partners. It can be any public or private entity from Slovakia or Norway in this case. For both, for this call, it's important that they are applicable to schemes. One is a scheme of the state aid scheme with this number 63743 is attached to the call on our I think web page. And within this state aid scheme, we are using Article 14 and 25 of the regulation of the European Commission 650/2015. The Article 14 is connected to the regional investment aid and Article 25 to the development projects and research projects. You can choose either Article 14 or Article 25, not both of them in one project application. As a complementary, we also drafted de minimis aid scheme, which you can use for either Article 14 or Article 25, or you can just use only this de minimis aid scheme, which is under the number 14/2020. Just to be and also read thoroughly both state aid schemes or the minimis aid scheme. There are many important facts which has to be actually fulfilled when you want to apply. And then above these schemes, it's actually the call text. It's a little bit narrowed in the calls. Within both calls for proposals, there will be priority given to the projects which either are aiming at the young entrepreneurs or female entrepreneurs. The definition of young entrepreneurs or female entrepreneurs is stated in the calls. Also, 2 extra points will receive an application which will have a donor project partners. That means either a donor project partner from Norway or Iceland or Liechtenstein. The 2 extra points will be given to the project which will be implemented in the less developed regions in Slovakia, which means outside of the Bratislava region. And also the extra 2 points will be given to if the applicant is a small or medium enterprise, as the objective of this program is to support SME. The call B02, as I said, very similar. The allocation is over 4 and 5.4 million euro. It's open only 2 months, and the deadline for this application for this call it's 4th October. The rest it's the same as for the call B01, except what I already mentioned with concerning the project partners. Also, very often, lots of questions we are receiving, it's concerning the limitation of project partners. The limitation is maximum 3 project partners plus applicant. The applicant is not calculated in this number. Applicant is who is submitting the project partner, the project application, and within the project can be maximum 3 project partners, either from Slovakia or from the donor countries, one of the donor country. The eligible activities which can be supported under both calls. As I said, the program is drafted very broad. These are only the focus areas within the GII and WTAL, which we think can be often or can be very suitable, or we would like to see and donors would like to see, but they can be in areas beyond this which are listed here. All these areas are also stated in the calls for proposals. That means in the GII, in the green industry innovation area, can be projects focused on circular economy, smart society, renewable energy, green ICT solutions, new innovative project technologies, which will reduce the environmental impact, or any smart construction technology solutions and innovations. Again, this program is mainly focused on also innovations, and this will be taken into consideration during the content-based criteria evaluations. The second area, the welfare technology and ambient assistant living. Now it's kind of popular, or it's getting very popular also due to COVID-19 situation. It can be telemedicine, robotics, automatic technologies, development of products innovation that help people with various disabilities or elderly people, products for monitoring life action suitable for household, system for the medical care of chronic ill person or people with disabilities, technologies for smart houses, smart textiles, etc. But it can be this, as I said, these areas can be also beyond this, what beyond this, these are which are listed here. What can be interesting of you, there are some time frames for both calls. The deadline for the BIN01 is half of September. The evaluation of the administrative and eligibility criteria, which is done by us, by the program operator, will be finished in October. The evaluation of content criteria by the expert evaluators will be finished in we are planning to finish in November, and the evaluation committee meeting, which is which are going to recommend the projects for approval to the program operator. It's planned to have a meeting in November and December. And before Christmas, we would like to have a decision on supported projects, and then you will be notified either if your project is supported or on the reserve list or rejected. The project contract signing is scheduled for March, April 2020. For this BIN01, the project implementation period is given for 24 months, but all projects has to be, the implementation of all projects within the program and within the EEA and Norway grants in general has to be completed by latest 30 April 2024. It's the really last possible date which the project implementation should be completed. For the call BIN02, the deadline is at the beginning of October, for October 2021. The administrative and eligibility criteria, the assessment of the administrative eligibility criteria should be finished in November. That means we can see there are some, 1-2 months postponing to BIN01, and the decision on supported projects. That means when you will receive notification whether your project is supported or on the reserve list. We are scheduling on the April, hopefully it will be sooner, and project contract signing in June. In BIN02, you will have the maximum 23 months for project implementation. And now, which is important for strengthening bilateral relations, and what is this webinar for? It's a fund for bilateral relations. through which we support some bilateral initiatives, which can be either for donor project partner search or some smaller, larger scale bilateral initiatives, which was launched on the 18th of August, called BIN, the call with the code BIN BF03. This call is focused for supporting these bilateral initiatives within these two business calls, BIN01 and BIN02. We divided it on measure A, which is mainly focused on donor project partner search, which we will find out more about later. Runway will, as Runway said. And also you can apply for measure B, small scale bilateral initiatives, which do not need to be focused only on project partner search for this BIN01 and BIN02 calls, but within these two program focus areas, GII, WTAL, you can do any small projects with partners from donor states. That means Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein. For this call, we have allocation 70,000 euro for measure A, 30,000 for measure B, 40,000. The measure A, there is no co-financing required. For measure A, which is focused on project partner search for calls BIN01, BIN02, it's allocated 30,000 euro and will be open. And will be open until 30 days prior to the date closure of these two calls, because there is some time of which we need for the assessment. And if this allocation 30,000 is not withdrawn by this deadline, this allocation can be then also used for the measure B, and measure B is then open until 31st December 2022. That means over a year, or until the total allocation is used. There's some more detailed information about the minimum, maximum grant. You can go through it. You have this call also. This call is published already also in another web page with more information. The eligible applicants and partners under measure A are linked to call BIN01 or call BIN02. But just remember, the eligible applicants for this bilateral call can be also partners from Norway or Iceland, Liechtenstein. It don't need to be only entities from Slovakia. The same also for measure B. They can be either applicant and partner, exactly as you read it, eligible applicants and partners. Here are some activities, example of activities under measure A and measure B, which can be supported. I will not go through it right now. Maybe you will have, it will be discussed today, but we will share with you this presentation. And yeah, that's probably all from my side. I just would like to add that within our program, Business Development and SMEs, there will be two calls announced in the second half of this year, probably in October, which are linked to education and and entrepreneurship of young people, which is the codes SGS02, SGS03, and also one call for the bilateral activities. But it will be mainly on the education and the donor program partners are two institutions, one from Liechtenstein, it's IBA, and the second one from Norway, it's HKDIR, formerly DIKU. We will also support entrepreneurs and secondaries, except the schools, secondary schools and higher education institutions. We will also support entrepreneurs. I actually forgot to mention in my presentation that under this call BIN BF03, it's applicable de minimis scheme, de minimis scheme. If the projects are of non-economic, has a non-economic character, the activities don't need to fall under this scheme. Only economic character of activities has to follow the de minimis aid scheme. Ranway, that's probably all for what I have prepared for the calls. Thank you. And as Ranway already mentioned, here are our email contacts. Here is our email contacts where you can send us your questions to all the calls. And also on the viscomnaagentura.sk, you can find our phone numbers and you can also call us. Thank you.
Excellent, Sonia. I think that was very informative. And we will also, I think we'll be happy to circulate the presentations that we have today to you later in case that is useful, including the recording, of course. And for the remaining opportunities in the program, you can also follow us on social media and it will appear there as soon as it is ready. But now you have a lot to think about, and we will go over to the next point in our agenda, which is focused more on the bilateral cooperation part of this program and on partnerships. I will share a presentation as well. Hopefully it shows up for you soon. So to those who have come in later, my name is Ranveig, and I work for Innovation Norway, which means that I am the representative of the donor program partner from Norway in this program. I have a presentation here that is threefold. It introduces Innovation Norway briefly to show you what we can help out with. It outlines our role in this program, and it presents some tips on how a potential Slovak applicant, such as many of you, might find and connect with a partner in Norway. Obviously, the matchmaking after our webinar, but also in other ways. So let's see. Very briefly on Innovation Norway. Innovation Norway is a governmental agency owned by the Ministry of Trade and Fisheries, as well as the regions in Norway. We aim to stimulate business development that is commercially and socioeconomically profitable and to realize the potential of the regions in Norway. So we are a sparring partner for enterprises with ambitions throughout the country. And we offer, well, mainly capital, expertise, and networks for that purpose. Our sub-goals are more successful entrepreneurs, and our regional officers are actively involved in this, especially. To create more companies with growth potential, which is important for restructuring the Norwegian economy, for example, and to have more innovative business clusters. Cluster cooperation, because we see that companies that participate in clusters are generally, clusters and network services are generally more successful than those who do not. So that's an aim. This is just a slide to show you where we get our funding. It's mainly from the Ministry of Trade and Fisheries, but also other ministries and regions. And it adds up to approximately 400 million. And we also make allocations, mainly in loans and guarantees, but also in grants, and we provide advice and profiling. And here also to show you a little bit about the Norwegian economy. these are the funds that we allocate per sector. The largest sectors are, well, the other sector, but otherwise it's marine, agriculture, and energy and environment, but also tourism, oil, health are important sectors in Norway. So the aim of our activities is to trigger private investments. So you see that from the 7 billion in Innovation Norway in 2019, it triggered more than 10 billion. So that means that the total impact from Innovation Norway's activities in this year was about 1.8 billion euro. And we are kind of a regional development agency in Norway. So you see we have offices from Grimstad in the south to Vadsø in the north, which is good when helping Slovak companies find Norwegian partners. We can use the entire country. And we're also kind of an international trade office with offices all around the world, but focused in Europe, Asia, and the US mainly. Looking at the EEA and Norway grants, Innovation Norway is involved in 13 programs under the EEA and Norway grants, which is quite a lot. We are operating 6 programs on business development and innovation, one on energy as well, and a fund for social dialogue or decent work. And we are also a donor program partner in 7 programs, including this one in Slovakia. So we have quite a lot of experience and activities related to the grants to show you that. And then you might wonder about the role of a donor program partner. It's an advisory role. Our role is to support our colleagues in Slovakia in developing this program and operating it. We have been involved in writing the main documents and the program agreement, and we are a member of a cooperation committee where we meet regularly to follow the implementation of the program. But even more importantly, Innovation Norway as DPP or donor program partner, we are here to facilitate bilateral relations. Because as both Sonia and I have mentioned, there's an objective in the EEA and Norway grants to strengthen bilateral cooperation. And this is done in the program as well as hopefully through every project that receives funding. So what we do to facilitate these bilateral relations, which is cooperation between here Slovakia or Norway, Iceland, or Liechtenstein. We promote the open calls for funding, such as we have done today. We mobilize potential Norwegian partners, like some of you. Organize matchmaking, such as the one we will have later. And we also do other activities financed by money set aside for bilateral activities. So we are basically here to help you help Slovak companies find a potential, a fitting and relevant and good partner in Norway or Iceland and Liechtenstein. And also to help Norwegian potential partners find someone relevant in Slovakia. So that's why you can contact us regarding that. Let's see. Why a partner and how to find one? Well, we see from this experience with the EEA and Norway grants, we see that having a partner in the project brings added value in generally and in most cases. The goal would be, for example, to the cooperation in itself, shared results, and wider effects. There can be spin-off effects or continuations of projects, with other funds after the implementation of an EEA and Norway grants project. Yes, typical contributions from partners in these business innovation projects would be sector-related know-how, efficient production processes, expertise. R&D is quite common, and specific support, for example, technology. And yes, a spin-off can be supply of technology and services. But of course, there were many good reasons to cooperate, and normally we see that they are successful, the projects that do have a partnership. And obviously we know that it's difficult with the COVID situation to find a partner, but we really hope that it is opening up soon and that you can use these bilateral grants that Sonja talked about to travel and actually meet physically in person. So how to find one? Well, you're already doing it. Being here today, it's great. Make use of online matchmaking possibilities. I will just remind you again to go look in your profile in the B2 match. And you can also use our partner search database, where you can register a profile and look at other profiles. And this is a good tool as well, the Explorer. Norwegian participants might know it. The Explorer is the marketplace for green technology in Norway. You, as a Slovak participant here, you might want to go in and have a look at the website. It promotes Norwegian companies and connects them with international buyers and partners. Innovation Norway normally calls it, well, actually the Prime Minister, when launching the Explorer, called it the Tinder dating app for businesses. The difference here is that all the profiles of the companies have actually been verified. So there's a good level to the quality and expertise that is presented. So you can go in and type in a search word for what your project idea is, and you will get up a presentation of companies that are ready and willing and able to participate in international projects. So that's a good tip. Let's see, next. And here I also promised some tips on how to be a partner. And Sonja said something about it already. It's to be prepared. I don't know if point number 2 is very good now because we have deadlines coming up. Yes, good communication between partners is obviously key, open communication. And if that is the case, we normally say that 1 + 1 can be more than 2. So we encourage you to aim for a partner in a project and to contact us if we can do anything to help. And that's it, I think, Sonja, from me. I will stop presenting.
Okay.
Yeah. Excellent. And since I am taking us through this meeting, I will also say that that's it for presentations. We have not done the pitching because that was mentioned in the agenda earlier, because we figured that it's a rather small meeting so that the participant interested in talking to each other can do so one-on-one. We will start the B2B matchmaking in B2 Match at 12, but actually you can start it already. And I know that some people are having meetings right now as well. There are very few limitations to that. So we will just wish you best of luck with meetings and with finding someone relevant that you connect with. And we will hope this was informative and hope that you are in touch. whenever that is needed. And if you have any technical issues or questions regarding the B2Match platform, just drop us an email and we will help you straight away. But what you will need to do is to exit this link and then go into the other link, in case that isn't clear. So looking at my colleagues, I think we have been happy to have you, to see you, and hope to see you again. So thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
All the best.
Thank you. Bye.